Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This is Zach with Zach Attack Cards. We're coming at you with a brand new card show pickup / recap and review show just for you. Going to be a lot of fun. I went to the show earlier this week, actually, and it was about 75 tables. Decent amount of dealers, decent amount of customers for sure. Customers are definitely looking to sell more than buy, it seems. I mean, everybody's bringing their stuff in Zion cases and whatever other brands make the cases, and that seems to be what everybody's kind of doing. So more, I'd say that happens more often than people actually buying anything. You do still have obviously the guys that make the big money deals, but those are kind of few and far between. So I think the health is still there. I still do your value boxing, so that's what we're going to show you today. Everything you see here came from value boxing, and nothing was more expensive than, I believe, $10, and even that was knocked down by essentially, building a stack and, working with the dealer and making a better deal. So we're going to do this like we normally do. For those unfamiliar with our format, we're going to basically we're going to go through all the cards. Then we're going to go through what we spent, total spend, the average spend per card. Then we're going to have the total value, determine whether or not we did well, whether or not we lost. It happens sometimes. And then we're going to look at the average value per card. And lastly, we're going to have the MVC, or the most valuable card from this card show. So I'm doing things a little bit different this time. I have baseball here. It was a massive football show, so as you can see, that was most of what we have here. And then we have a small pile of relics, and I just kind of thought it'd be cool to separate those guys out into their own pile. So, but I think what we'll actually do is we'll put them in the middle, because I believe they're all baseball relics. So I don't want to go baseball, football, baseball, just to kind of keep the continuity up a little bit. So let's get our sorter down here for everything to kind of go in. And as usual, you know what I'm looking for. I'm always looking for rookies, second years. I'm looking for inserts, looking for metal universe, the original ones, not the newer stuff. I like the original sets from 96, I believe it was, to 2000. And outside of that, there's a few other things. If you've watched the channel for a while, everything's going to kind of show up in here, so you'll definitely get an idea for what it is I hunt for. But let's start here. So first one off the bat, a nice one, an Albert Pujols 2002 opening day rookie cup. Very nice card. I think it was in his dollar box. I was like, I'll definitely pick that up. I have the standard version of it, so I figured, why not? He's eventually going to get into the Hall of Fame. Again, then we got the Yankee savior. I don't know if maybe he shares that crown with Spencer Jones, but George Lombard Jr., the guy that lots and lots of people are calling to come up and start playing shortstop over Anthony Volpe. I have to see whether or not the Yanks pull the trigger and do anything like that this year. I highly doubt it, but I suppose stranger things have happened. I got a Mike Bowman, first Bowman Chrome. Just a pitcher for the Orioles. I figured, my team, so a good one to add to the box and my Orioles collection. It seems like some of these top loaders are maybe a little bit bigger than standard. Oh well. In that case, we'll nix the sorter. Next up, Mark Mulder. As I've said before, some of my fondest memories are the Oakland A's three-headed monster that they had in the early 2000s of Mulder, Zito, and Hudson. This just happens to be one from Topps Traded. A couple of newer ones here. Sal Frelick, first Bowman auto. Excellent young player for the Milwaukee Brewers, who are just on a tear and perhaps the best team in baseball when it's all said and done. And then Jordan Lawler, another guy that's had a little bit of a start and stop to his career. It'll be interesting to see if he can get things back on track. Kyle Tucker, another guy who's down a little bit. Had a scorching first half of the season, was an all-star, but haven't seen too much about him since. It'll be interesting to see if the Cubs try to retain him or not. This is an interesting little set that they produced back in like 95, I think it was. 90, yeah, it looks like maybe 95 Upper Deck. So you could see here Michael Jordan retires. So I guess the set was called like Michael Jordan 1-on-1. And I've been slowly collecting them one at a time. I don't know if this was a set that you just kind of bought as one, or if it came out of packs or something. But as I've said before, I enjoy collecting Jordan baseball cards. And then we have a greatness loading from Bowman, the Kobe Mayo insert. So he's had some real good performances for my Orioles this year. So hopefully he can continue that. Here's a nice old one that I enjoy. I like the dual picture that they did back in '83, which is probably why I enjoyed 2023 so much. But very iconic Nolan Ryan card. And then speaking of Nolan Ryan, I'm not sure it'll show up phenomenally here, but you have the Upper Deck Then and Now. How cool is that? This was a insert set that they produced back in '93. And there's a lot of Hall of Famers in it, but Nolan Ryan's one of the cooler ones, especially since he was on 2 different teams, as you can kind of see there. Definite pickup for $1. And now we're getting into more of my like later 90s, early 2000s inserts, which I'm typically into. So this is from Pinnacle, Andrew Jones, Lasting Memories. As you can see, it's kind of die cut here on the right edge, which I thought was really cool. His teammate for quite a while, Chipper Jones, Diamond Standouts, had a Fleer Tradition. Hall of Famer, of course. Then a couple out of Upper Deck, Upper Deck Encore, Upper Realm, the subset or insert set was called. A-Rod and Nomar Garciaparra. There for a while, they were heavily associated with one another, along with Derek Jeter as being the future of the shortstop position. Nomar didn't quite, make it as far. I don't know what term to use, but maybe it wasn't as successful as A-Rod and Jeter, but was definitely a good player when he started. And now my guy, I'm always collecting Cal Ripken, and it's awesome to get one that I don't have. So this came out of Thunder. It's Boss 98 insert, Cal Ripken Jr., as I just toss it around. Out of the Circus sets that was around for a little while there in the late 90s. And then one more Ripken. You know that I don't typically collect the later stuff, but how can you not like this card? Galactic Greatness, Cal Ripken Jr. out of Topps Chrome Cosmic. Just such a nice set. I wish it wasn't so expensive, but when you can get the inserts for $1, I will jump all over that. And we have the City to City, I believe this was called, out of last year's Topps. Shohei Ohtani. Not going to pass on that again for $1. Just further beefing up my Shohei collection. This one's also an insert. Thought it was pretty cool. All etch logo fractor. Rafael Devers. Not the biggest fan of the player, although he's an excellent player. I just thought it was really cool that it was a logo fractor. Not numbered or anything, and to the best of what I could see, I guess this was an insert that you could get out of the logo fractor boxes. And then finishing up on I believe the insert portion, although this is a base card, Ken Griffey Jr., Topps Finest. First of all, still got the protective coating on it, as you can see there. And this one I thought was really nice, similar to the Then and Now that you saw. This one was called Flashbacks, numbered to a really weird number, 4225. But you can see a nice early shot of Griffey. I'm guessing maybe from '89. It does look about that age, especially with the Mariners emblem on his helmet there, and then him on the Reds back in '02. Yeah. So let's finish up the baseball. We have a Fernando Tatis Rookie Cup. Almost looks like he's doing the John Cena thing. You can't see me. We have a Tatis Topps Fire Rookie. I love Topps Fire. I really wish they would bring it back. It was one of those really cool retail sets. And Xander Bogaerts. We have his Rookie and his Rookie Cup / Future Stars card. So another guy who... He's slowed down a bit, so I don't think his trajectory is still at the Hall of Fame pace. But, when it's all said and done, he could be at least a borderline Hall of Famer. And now this was my favorite part of the whole day. So longtime watchers know that I love Major League Baseball Showdown. I've had a couple of videos, couple of rips of when I've been able to find packs, couple of things I found on Marketplace. But this is the first time I've been able to find nothing but foils. This guy was just charging $2 a piece too, so I was all over it. I bought every single one that he had, which only ended up being 7, but you'll see some really neat names here. So Jason Giambi, still on the Athletics, and that's a first edition, and this is out of 2000, so the first set that they created. Same with Jeff Zimmerman, not quite the name that Giambi was. And then Aaron Seeley, who comes out of the pennant run, as you can see, with the little flag there, or pennant, whatever you want to call it. So you can see kind of the difference between the hitters and the pitchers. And it was your basic dice game. I mean, for those that don't know, it was just so much fun. It was like a little bit of math, and you know, you based on your dice roll, you resolved what happened on the play. Was the batter out? Did he get a double, triple, home run, whatever? You know, all based on these little charts. So much fun. I still play it pretty consistently. And then the last few were from 2001. So none of these are first edition. Kevin Brown, excellent starter around that time. Jeff D'Amico, also a good starter around that time. And then Ryan Dempster, who many of you may know from Major League Baseball Network right now. He's one of their talking heads, but he was on the Florida Marlins and was quite good. And lastly, Carlos Delgado, maybe one of the best power hitters that the Blue Jays have ever seen. Definitely up there, if not. So excellent player. But so psyched to get some Major League Baseball Showdown. Never gonna pass, regardless of whether I have them. I love them. And now some swatches, some game use stuff, whatever you want to call it. So first is the Hall of Famer Todd Helton from the Colorado Rockies. Got a little, not a complete napkin, at least has a bit of a pinstripe there from his Rockies uniform out of Fleer Legacy. Next one is Ron Say, Classic Materials. This is out of Upper Deck. Just gray, but still pretty cool. Thought it was worth the pickup. I know that I've said in the past that I really only like to collect Hall of Famer patches, or whatever you want to call it, but Ron Say is one of those guys, like he's right there with like a Dale Murphy and almost countless others at this point, where they consider him to be one of, if not the best player to not be in the Hall of Fame. So perhaps he gets there one day. And then I definitely go ahead and break the rule on this one, but I enjoyed Juan Gonzalez when I was younger, so I figured simple enough to pick up his patches. Each one of these patches were $2 a piece too, by the way. So, I mean, definitely not going to pass on that. He also had a bunch of like Rafael Palmeiro. Didn't have any Orioles, otherwise I probably would have picked that up. But yeah. And then this guy, probably, I think this honestly might be the most expensive card I bought. Was the Carlton Fisk Upper Deck Epic Materials to 155. Once again, a little bit of a pinstripe from his White Sox days. But just an awesome swatch of a Hall of Famer. And great one to add to my collection of game used. And then this guy, Chris Sale. So I thought for $3, it's a pretty easy pickup. He's a guy I think that could eventually get into the Hall of Fame when it's all said and done. So I thought, once again, for $3, if he doesn't, didn't really waste that much money. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to get patches when it comes to opening product. You're basically always going to spend $3, or you're basically always going to spend more than $3 a pack, and you're not guaranteed this. So I thought, why not just grab it? And if he makes it, he makes it. And we can kind of add it to the Hall of Fame section, or however I decide to kind of divvy things up if I intend on keeping some of these guys that aren't in the Hall of Fame. Moving on to football. Like I said, as you can see, a lot more football than anything else at this one. It seems to be it's so interesting because like you go to, I think it's no secret that I do a majority of my retail shopping at Walmart and Target and stuff like that. And football is probably the second biggest one, and in terms of how quickly people buy it or scoff it up, and it's pretty readily available, I have to say. Baseball is still difficult to find unless you get there relatively quickly after a restock, at least in my area. This could be different everywhere else, I guess, but it's just very interesting to see so much football at this show. So kicking it off with Skybox Metal Universe, as I like to say. Once again, not one of my favorite years, 1999. Just when they were going to like a very basic background, but still one of the original ones that I collect. And we have a couple Patrick Peterson, Topps Legends, which is a set I wasn't even aware of, but it's a gorgeous, gorgeous white background that really makes everything pop. And Topps Chrome Patrick Peterson. From there, we move to Julio Jones. We have a triple of him, or whatever. We have Julio Jones Topps Platinum rookie. We have a Topps Chrome rookie and a Topps Prime rookie. I mean, we'll have to see when he becomes eligible for the Hall of Fame. It's definitely a possibility that he gets in there. He may not have quite had the longevity, but man, was he dominant in his at least earlier in his career. And check this out, a couple Charles Woodson rookies. Definitely not going to pass these up for $2 a piece when you know they go for more. So Topps Chrome and Bowman Chrome. Something to keep an eye on for those that aren't aware is this is 1998, same as Peyton Manning and such. They don't denote rookie on the card. Topps Chrome a little easier to identify since it says draft picks, but Bowman Chrome, nowhere does it denote rookie. So just something to keep in mind. And then back to the newer stuff, BTJ. Brian Thomas Jr., Prism. Love the totally certified portraits. And a Mosaic NFL debut. So just a couple of nice ones, as I've said before. Especially with the newer stuff, I've been picking up the guys that collected 1,000 yards this past year. We'll see how they do in their sophomore year. Bradley Chubb, a guy that was just amazing in college and then couldn't quite get there in the NFL, but figured pick up Donruss, pick up his Optic rookies. Once again, $1 a piece. Kind of hard to miss on those. Now, I'm going to talk about a guy who never got it together in the NFL, but I picked him up anyways. Jamarcus Russell. Look at this guy. Bowman Chrome rookie, Topps Chrome rookie, and regular Topps. Probably could have passed on the regular Topps, but I didn't go back through my stuff, and what the heck, it was only $1 anyways. But believe it or not, there's actually a decent size or a decent sampling of people out there who collect nothing but busts, which unfortunately for Mr. Russell, he definitely fits into. Now on to a guy that was anything but a bust. Bowman Sterling and Bowman Chrome Darrelle Revis rookies. The Sterling is just gorgeous, isn't it? Oh, it's like a mirror, for God's sakes. You can almost see me. I mean, there's not much more to say about him. A Hall of Famer in every aspect. He was Revis Island. I mean, absolutely incredible player. Donovan McNabb, 1999 NFL Draft. Pretty cool one. 99 season opener. You can see down here it even says Topps rookie card. So the man, at least until they started winning their Super Bowls, now everybody kind of forgets him. But hey, he got you to one. He just didn't win it. And then Brian Urlacher, rookie card. Loved watching this guy play. This is from Skybox, and it's some sort of green parallel or something like that. But you know, nothing that makes it, you know, it's not numbered or super short printed or anything. There's no incredible value here. But such a professional. Loved watching him play. And once again, just a deserving Hall of Famer. Geno Smith, I figured why not pick this up. He's still playing, and he's still playing well. I guess he's going to be the quarterback of the Raiders, I think, this year. So it'll be interesting to see where his career takes him after that rough start with the Jets. Von Miller, Topps Chrome rookie card. I think this is a guy that's also a surefire Hall of Famer when it's all said and done. He has done things that really helped define, the new age kind of pass rushing. Megatron himself out of Score 2007. Calvin Johnson. Never going to pass up his stuff. Easily one of the best wide receivers ever. And then here we go. So, I mean, as long as I've been doing this, I've never found me a Jason Witten rookie. At least not like a big money autograph or something like that. So, this is a nice Bowman rookie, and I'm definitely not going to pass. I got my fingers crossed. I think he's going to make the Hall next year. I certainly hope that he does. I mean, I feel like statistically he's got the stats to get there, but maybe I've got some rose-colored glasses on since I'm a Cowboy fan. Got Ndamukong Suh, another guy that was just such a great pass rusher. And we have an early refractor at a Bowman Chrome, Eddie George. Once again, a nice rookie. He was outstanding for several years there in the early 2000s. And Jalen Carter picked it up. I mean, it's numbered to 149, so pretty easy pickup for $1. Hines Ward rookie, once again, only about $1 or two. Everything here was really only $1 or two, with the exception of the few that I've shown you with some price tags and stuff. Museum Collection, Mike Evans rookie. Just thought that one had a nice look to it. And once again, probably a Hall of Famer when he's all done. Matt Stafford out of Score. Not too often you can get some of the better quarterbacks for just $1 or two. And this one I thought was cool. I don't have any Sean Taylor rookie cards in my my collection either. So there we go. R.I.P. Unfortunately, but he was such a special player. And a couple of guys from the same set. Champ Bailey and Ricky Williams. Excellent players and very dominant players there for some time. Jalen Ramsey, Donruss rated rookie. Still doing it. He got traded again, right? I forget where the heck he is at this point. Sam Bradford, refractor out of Topps Chrome. Because why not? Like I said, I like to collect guys that, I kind of grew up watching. I mean, not that I grew up around that time. I was already like 20 or so, but Martellus Bennett, who was a excellent backup tight end for my team and then became a trader and went over to the Giants for a little while. Danielle Hunter, refractor out of Topps Chrome. Once again, it's really hard to pass these up for like just $1 or two. Robert Smith was part of those excellent Vikings teams with Randy Moss and Chris Carter. And they have Randall Cunningham first, right? And then Dante Culpepper. Keenan Allen rookie. We'll go through these a little quicker. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Got a Joe Milton. Might eventually do something for my Cowboys. Tyrod Taylor still hanging around. Grabbed his rookie. Dwayne Brown was an excellent lineman. Just going back a few years. Tony Gonzalez rookie. I mean, it's unbelievable how these Hall of Fame rookies are so devalued. Once they leave the league, nobody really wants them. Vince Young, unfortunately, another one of those great college quarterbacks that never became too much in the NFL. Eric Decker, he was darn good with the Broncos there when, especially when Manning joined. Eric Berry, everybody knows his story, of course. And, of course, Zach Martin rookie card. Don't really have to explain why I picked that one up. Chris Jones rookie out of Panini. Gorgeous. It's also like a weird, it doesn't seem to be a parallel, but I just really like that the card and the borders and everything was kind of like a color match. And we have CJ2K, as they used to call him, Chris Jones. Or Chris Johnson. Wow. Confusing the last two guys. Nick Bosa. Once again, one of the better pass rushers in the league, especially when healthy. Jamal Charles set a bunch of rushing records for the Chiefs. Early 2000s anyways. Quentin Nelson, another excellent guard. Derek Thomas, once again, needs no introduction. 1989 rookie. Awesome stuff, Hall of Famer. Micah Parsons, I pray and hope that he will be a Cowboy, but who knows? And then Jared Allen, perhaps the most recent Hall of Famer out of everything that I've picked up here. So with that said, let's roll into the stats and then get you guys on out of here pretty promptly. So the total spend for everything you saw was $150, which made the average spend about $163 because it's about 92 cards total. The total value was $264. So we absolutely killed this one, like in terms of comps and everything. We absolutely destroyed it. Average value of $288 per card. And the MVC, I'm sure you guys are wondering why I've kind of kept these cards off to the side as we've been going. The MVC is actually a three-way tie between these three cards. All three are worth about $15. I realize the Jared Allen card's just being boosted a bit because they literally just went into the Hall of Fame, but I mean, that's what the comps are saying, so it's one of the MVCs. The Carlos Delgado MLB Showdown card, also worth about 15 bucks. And then this guy is actually a short print. And that's the whole reason I picked it up. I wasn't 100%, but I knew the picture was different. So I have a bunch of the standard, you know, second year Gold Cup Tatis cards, and they're all portrait. This being landscape, I knew it was something, especially since it still was Series 1. Sometimes you'll get weird parallels or like from the complete set or something like that. That'll be a different picture, but this is the short print. There is a super short print as well, obviously, which is more valuable, but this guy's also about 15 bucks. So pretty crazy. So just between those three cards, basically, you're looking at about 45 bucks, at least based on current comps. So that's it. It was a wonderful, wonderful time. I had a great time discussing with all the dealers and, you know, talking with all kinds of people there. It's always a blast, and I highly recommend you go to your local shows and check it out. And if you've never been to one, go check it out. It's so much fun. Get your feet wet. It's honestly a blast, and for the most part, you're going to be dealing with very nice people. It's a good community. Not to say that there aren't some that won't rip you off, but we won't go into that. Anyways, so let's wrap this one up, guys, and get you on out of here. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. If you could head down below, hit the subscribe button, click the like while you're there. We'll definitely be sure to do more card show pickups just like this, as well as many, many more product openings and reviews and all kinds of stuff. We put out videos every Monday and Friday, and would absolutely love to have you along for the ride. And last thing I want to say, as you're very well aware if you've watched these videos before, I like to have a bit of a unique close. Thank you to everybody that hosted the show. Thank you to everyone that vended at the show. Thank you to even there were food vendors at the show, them as well. Thank you to, you know, everybody that I had a discussion about, you know, sports cards, the hobby, sports in general. Always a lot of fun. You know, thanks for the deals. Thanks for a fun place to go on a Saturday and just kill a few hours. It's an absolute blast, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. But with that said, gonna get you on out of here, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.